โมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมัสสามิ Welcome to the afternoon session. Very pleasant for the monks. We get to see the view out there. Nice forested mountain. You know, in Chinese cultures, to see the green leaves on the trees is medicine for your eyes. Soft. One of the nice things about Penang, have mountains all around, trees, mountains, has a good effect on your mind. You also get a good view, you get a view of the Buddha. So our surroundings are one factor in our practice. In a peaceful place with Kalyano, people who are keeping the precepts, practicing mindfulness together, need the supportive conditions. So we're very lucky. It's our good fortune or good karma, being born a human being, healthy enough. Everyone has some problems, I know. Everyone has something, but you're still healthy enough to participate today. Hear, you still have ears to hear, eyes to read, you have a brain to think, and then you have faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. These are not things that are easy to acquire, the Buddha said. Not easy to be born as a human being. I was just showing Venerable a picture of a hungry ghost. Somebody sent me the link for a monk, a famous meditation master in Thailand, who met a hungry ghost once and was telling the story, and then they put it on YouTube. And so they had a picture of a hungry ghost and a little monk and a big hungry ghost kind of bearing down on him, like an alien out of a movie or something. You could have been born as a hungry ghost. You're not. You are born as a human. That's something to be grateful for. You had enough good karma last life that this life you're born into a human form. You're healthy enough to practice, and you come in contact with the Buddhist teachings. The Buddha said all of these things are difficult. Many people born in the world and they don't have the chance to hear the Dhamma. They're born in a country where there's no Buddhism, or they don't meet the teachers, or they don't read the book. Even in this day and age, with internet and the possibility of accessing information from all over the world, people still miss it. They never encounter the Buddhist teachings. The conditions are not right for them. But they are for you, so this is your great good fortune. But still, we have to practice. The Buddha reminded us he can't make us enlightened. It's not how the Buddhist teachings or the Buddhist path brings its fruit. The Buddha couldn't just wish you to become enlightened, wish you to be free from suffering. Not even a God can do that. It has to come from each individual, having the aspiration to practice, putting forth the effort. And that's what you're doing here today. You're actually putting forth effort to develop the path as the Buddha taught. So when you practice, your starting point has to be faith, saddha, in the Buddha, his message, his teachings, and then also faith in yourself, because you must feel that you can do it. If you couldn't do it, you wouldn't be here if you don't go. Although even maybe today you might have a doubt in your mind, oh, meditation is too difficult, I find it hard, my mind is all over the place. Sometimes we have that thought. But it's not beyond you. It's not so difficult you can't practice. But there are obstacles. And that's why we're here. We're learning how to face the obstacles, to learn, to overcome them through our practice, through our efforts. So you have to begin with saddha, faith in the Buddha, confidence in the Buddha, and confidence in your own potential for enlightenment. And then you build on that through the practice. So with faith, you gain what we call virya, effort, energy. Energy comes through practice. You have to practice energy. People often say, oh, I've got no energy. Can't meditate, can't do this, can't do that. But energy is something you have to find, you have to bring up. And what the Buddha showed, and many others since the Buddha, men and women, monks, nuns, lay people, they've shown that human beings can summon up energy, effort regularly in their lives. And this is important to overcome all the obstacles of training the mind, training the heart. So energy is not just something a person has, just kind of, they're born with it. You either have it or you don't. We look at other people and we say, oh, they have so much energy, they can do so much good. Look at me, I can't do anything. Well, maybe that means we have to bring up the energy, we have to try. And you practice it, but if you practice something, you get better at it. You learn how to summon up the energy. You learn what you need to do to energize your mind. But also, like we talk about a lot in the world now, we also have to learn how to preserve our energy, sustain our energy. And we talk about sustainability now in the world because there's so many people in the world, 8 billion people. The resources of the world, we have to learn how to manage them, be careful with it, because one day they'll run out. Well, energy in terms of Dhamma practice is the same. You have to bring up energy, but you also have to learn how to preserve it, not waste it, and accept, there are some limitations on our energy. Sometimes we're ill, sometimes we're very tired. True. But there's also a certain amount of energy we need to develop that is just coming from our mind, working how to make the mind energetic in the practice. And mindfulness is where we're directing our energy to bring up mindfulness. And then the more mindful you become, the more you realize a lot of your feelings of tiredness or loss of energy are actually a loss of mindfulness. When we're not very mindful, maybe you feel a little bit tired, or you remember that you've been working all day, so you say, I must be tired. Maybe you're not actually that tired, but you think you are. You can think yourself into feeling tired. I must be tired because I work hard, so I better go and sleep or relax and do something because I'm tired. But when you're mindful, you just pay attention more to your body and mind. You may say, actually I'm not that tired. This is only one aspect of developing this word virya or energy, but mindfulness will help you become aware of what your energy level is, how to bring up energy, what are the obstacles to energy, and what do we direct our energy towards. So in the Buddhist path we have this term Samma Vayama, the sixth factor of the path, means right effort. And right effort in Buddhism is not necessarily a physical thing. It can be. It's not just a physical thing, it's more of a mental thing. The effort to prevent unwholesome mind states that haven't yet arisen from arising. Preventative medicine, if you want, for the mind. Because you can actually do that. You can actually see where you may be about to get angry or greedy or worried in a situation and prevent that from coming up by being sharp, aware, alert, and making efforts to avoid falling into that way of thinking. So sometimes it may be to do with your external environment. You say, when I talk to that person or when I'm with that person, they always make me angry. You know because you've been angry before. So this time, you're now practicing right effort before you go and meet that person or talk to them or work with them. You're already careful because you know your weakness, you know what might happen, you're very careful to prevent yourself getting angry. So you're extra mindful, extra careful. You mind what you say. Maybe you see the biggest problem with this person who makes you angry is you always disagree. You argue, you disagree. You're careful what you say. And you don't say much at all. All depends. I'm just giving you an example. But to prevent yourself getting angry when you know you might get angry, you have to be on guard. Again, it's the guarding quality of mindfulness. Or with greed, maybe you're somebody who has a real weakness for food, for example. So every time you go near the kitchen, the fridge, the restaurant, the market, anywhere where there's food that you like, you have to be on guard. Because you know you might slip into, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. Could be food, it could be something else. Anything that attracts you could be a certain person. Maybe you're in a relationship, but there's a new person coming into your life and, oh, I like this one. You've already got someone over here. Maybe the best way to prevent the desire overcoming you is avoid that person. Stop seeing them, stop looking at them, stop involving with them. If you understand the mind, maybe you have to do that. Or it could be online, couldn't it? You keep precepts and there's things you look at online, there's things you don't look at online. Because you keep precepts. It's to prevent unwholesome states of mind arising. Like when you become a monk, you stop going to bars and parties, nightclubs. Because that brings up a lot of unwholesome thinking, unwholesome behavior. First, if you're a young monk, you might think, oh, that's hard. But after a while, you think, oh, I'm so happy I learned to give all that stuff up. You don't miss it at all. It's that kind of idea. But for lay people too, there may be some things like one man in Melbourne, Buddhist, he said, I want to stop drinking, but every time I go to a social event, they always encourage me to drink alcohol. What should I do? If I don't go, then maybe I'm hurting my family, my friendships, my work relationship. What can I do? I said, you have to be strong. If you do go, you have to say, I'm not drinking. Have my other drink, my orange juice or something. You have to be strong, committed, firm. And then he found there was one or two other people he knew who didn't drink or didn't want to drink. So they formed a little club. When there's a social event, they sit together and they don't drink alcohol and they stay sober through the evening. And then they watch everyone else drinking and saying silly things, doing silly things. and they reinforce their strength to not drink. That can help. That's also preventative. Right effort in preventing unwholesome mind state arising. That's the first right effort, is learning how to protect against unwholesome mind states arising. When you're meditating like this, it might be as simple as not letting your mind go there. Say there's something, if you think about it, it will make you upset, agitated, worried, angry, afraid. You don't let your mind think of it. Stop. You hold on. You say, don't think of it. Don't go there. However, sometimes we lose our mindfulness and already the mind goes there. It's so fast. Already you start thinking about that thing that makes you angry, remembering something maybe. Or you start thinking about something that brings up lust or desire, or something that makes you worried, anxious. It's already happened. But now you become mindful and aware, oh, I'm caught into anxiety again, I'm angry again. So the next right effort is the effort to abandon the unwholesome mind state that's already arisen. The effort to abandon, let it go. And it's not always easy because it's already established a foothold in your mind. It's already got it. And it's like if you have some creature in your house that you don't want, if a mouse comes in, you best of all we stop it coming into your house in the first place. But if you can't and it's already in, what do? You have to run around, chase the mouse until you can catch it. And as a Buddhist, you're not allowed to kill it either. You use a trap that just traps it in some way without hurting it. Once it's in, it's hard work, but that's what you have to do. You have to run around, catch it, and then let it go outside. It's the same with those thoughts, the negative, unwholesome thoughts. Once they've started, okay, you have to accept that, and then you work to find a way to let them go. Find some wisdom, some understanding that will teach you, this is hurting me if I hold on. Better to let it go. So what did the Buddha say about unwholesome thoughts that come into the mind? He compared them to fire. What does fire do? Fire burns us. Greed, fire of greed, anger, fire of anger, delusion, ignorance. It's like a fire. All these things burn our mind up. They destroy our goodness, our peace, our happiness, and they bring the opposite. They bring suffering. So if you know something is going to burn you like fire, then you're willing to let it go. Just as real fire, once you know it's hot, you don't want to touch it. So if you notice when you meditate, probably the first things you're learning about is anger, hatred, revenge. Once you realize that you're hurting yourself, then you want to let it go. Give it up. Doesn't mean to say you have to like that person that you're angry with, but you don't want to hold on to the anger because you're hurting yourself. It's a fire. So once it's there, this is pain, this is suffering, let it go. The other two kinds of right effort are on the wholesome side, the positive side. The effort to bring up positive mind states, kusala Dhamma, bring them into existence. And before there was no positive, wholesome mind state, but now you're making effort to bring up. So you're all doing that today because you're practicing mindfulness. The Buddha said mindfulness is a Dhamma, a quality of mind that is always beneficial for you. Always. Win-win situation. The more mindfulness you bring up, the more you benefit. The happier it will make you, the wiser it will make you. Always good. So that's a good example. You're here practicing mindfulness as you walk, mindfulness as you sit, mindfulness as you move around this place. This is all bringing up wholesome dhammas. Maybe when you got up this morning you thought, oh, I'm really scattered, not very mindful, but you come to the retreat, The mindfulness starts to come up, you're more aware, you calm down a bit, mind becomes relaxed. This is the result of these wholesome Dhammas coming up. And our effort is, number one, we're bringing up mindfulness through our efforts. That's where our effort is directed, to be more mindful. But it's not just mindfulness, it's kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity, faith itself. And sometimes we have to bring up faith where there's no faith or where our faith is fading. But we bring up faith by listening to Dhamma. Wisdom, understanding, we have to reflect on things, contemplate to increase our wisdom. Generosity, patience, it's one you have to work hard with, isn't it? To be patient through the retreat is an effort, is a bringing up a wholesome Dhamma, isn't it? You remind yourself, be patient. When your leg hurts, when your mind is scattered, so be patient. These are examples of wholesome Dhammas we're bringing into existence, where previously they weren't there. Maybe previously you had no patience. Previously you had little faith. Previously you felt very lazy or bored or annoyed. But now you're bringing out the good qualities. The final right effort is probably the most refined and probably the top level of right effort is maintaining and developing wholesome Dhammas that have already arisen. They're already there, but now you're building on them, developing them further. So you may have some mindfulness already, I'm sure you do. But now you want to develop that mindfulness further, maintain it, not let it fade out, and refine it. And mindfulness is something that you might say has many levels as you practice. So you want to refine it and keep it there. As your mindfulness becomes more refined, your mind will see and observe more things. It becomes clearer, less distracted, less confused, less caught up in different thoughts and mind states. Now your mind becomes clearer. Wisdom as well, wisdom of the understanding of impermanence. First, you understand the word impermanence, anicca. Everything changes. You understand the word, but you don't really understand with your heart. So when things do change, you often still suffer. It's like the monk, my friend, one time he was injured in the leg, and his leg really hurt. He had blood, he had a big cut. And we were cleaning his cut up, looking after, and another monk was trying to be too smart, and he said, "Oh, Bhante, everything's impermanent here. Your cut will recover." And the monk said, "I know it's impermanent, but it still hurts." At first, we just understand intellectually it's impermanent. Yeah, I know the words. We all know the words. But can your heart really know impermanence? If you really know impermanence, you let go of suffering from your body. But at first we don't really know with the heart, we just remember the words. And how do we know that? Well, when something you really like or love breaks or gets lost or stolen, or the worst one, somebody you love gets injured or even dies. If someone comes along and says, "Oh, it's all impermanent," you go, "Yeah, I know that." It's still going to hurt, isn't it? There's an emotion there. Because your heart, your mind, is not gone in very deep. That's why we have to keep practicing. So your level of wisdom is developing to a deeper level. Like they say, when the Buddha announced he was going to die soon, 3 months before the Buddha entered Nibbana, he told Ananda, he said, "I'll be gone in 3 months' time." So Ananda told the monks. They said the monks reacted differently. He said some monks were very sad and they cried. "Oh, the you will leave the world. So they cry. They say, these are the Sotapannas. So a Sotapanna can still cry, still have tears. They already have faith in the Buddha and their practice established on a noble path. But they still have some mental defilement, some emotional activity going on in the mind, stirring them up a bit. Not much, but a bit, enough to make them cry when they heard that the Buddha will pass through. But the arahants stay calm because they know this must be. Even a Buddha must die. So they didn't cry. They still know it's not a good thing. Nobody wants the Buddha to die, but they didn't cry. And there were a few shameless monks who actually said, if the Buddha goes good, then there'll be less of all that telling us what to do and what we can't do and nagging us and teaching us. Because some monks were a bit shameless. They didn't want to be told what to do. So they were actually happy that the Buddha wouldn't be there. Not graceful, but some people are like that. So there's different levels of wisdom, aren't there? At first you understand a little, maybe with your thinking, your intellect. Later you understand deep down in your heart and your mind changes. You grow up, you mature, like a kid growing up. When you're a kid, you have toys that you play with and you love, and if anyone takes them away, you cry and throw a tantrum because it's your favorite thing in the whole world. But the toy you have when you're 3 years old, by the time you're 6 years old, you're not interested. You moved on. The development of wisdom through our efforts in the practice is a bit like that. When you begin meditating, there's things that stir you up, get you suffering, make you stressed. But as you practice, some of those earlier on things you leave behind. They don't bother you anymore because you've seen they're impermanent, they can be let go. Then your mind maybe moves on to more refined, subtle kinds of suffering. Picks up. For example, when you begin practicing, maybe you're just happy to be meditating. You try, you're not yet very peaceful, but you try. Then later on, you start to experience some peace. Meditate, sometimes you get really peaceful. Body is peaceful, mind is peaceful. You experience what we call samadhi. And samadhi is a bit different from the normal state of mind. The mind is very calm, steady. Body feels light, mind feels light. Quite pleasant, happy. Then the mind says, this is good. This is me, this is mine, my new thing. And so we form a new attachment. So when we first practiced, we didn't have much samadhi, so we couldn't attach to it. Then we start practicing, we get deeper into it, maybe we start attaching to our samadhi. So wisdom has to mature and keep up and say, hold on, this samadhi you're attaching to is also impermanent. Just like the pleasures of the world or the toys of the world, comparing to a kid with this toy. The things, the sensual pleasures of the world are impermanent, maybe you started to understand that. But these inner pleasures of samadhi or peaceful mind, maybe you are at first attached to them. But then wisdom has to develop and mature and say, no, even this, don't attach to this, this is not a self. And you contemplate the impermanence of even samadhi. The mind might go a bit higher. Or the goodness of the practice you do, like making merit, helping people, being kind, generous. The happiness of precepts, keeping the precepts. All of these things are genuine happiness, pleasure, but we still can attach to them, grasp at them. Sometimes you only notice that when you compare yourself to other people. That maybe you make merit and you notice someone else doesn't make merit, you look down on them. Or you keep precepts, you notice someone else doesn't keep the precepts, you look down on them. Or you meditate and you make your mind peaceful, but then you look down on those who don't have peaceful states of mind, so on. So your wisdom has to keep up with this practice. And not only do we develop things and use wisdom to develop each habit, but we also have to use wisdom to let go of the attachment to it as well. So this first talk this afternoon is talking a bit about faith and the development of effort, development of mindfulness, wisdom. All of these are qualities we're developing on the path. Because we just eaten our meal, probably everyone's still feeling a bit full, and now do a half an hour walking meditation session just to exercise a bit, wake everyone up. So, as in the morning, we'll do half an hour of walking in a line. We'll bow and come in formal line.